Next question goes to Bill Keating. First, I am concerned, this is from Ned Tibbetts of Cohasset, I am concerned about the finances of the Social Security program. Annually, aggregate Social Security benefits exceed the aggregate of all Social Security taxes by over $300 billion. This $300 billion deficit will be financed by United States government debt, which will increase indefinitely unless benefits, taxes, or eligibility are changed. What action do you favor regarding this problem?
Well, I'm the only person in this race that does not favor an action of raising the retirement age for Social Security. That is off the table as far as I'm concerned, not only because it's bad policy, but it's unnecessary. People like Nobel Prize-winning economic experts like Paul Krugman have said the same thing as well. I think the Republicans are politicizing this issue to try and work as a pathway to privatization. I do know this, that for the last 75 years, this has been the #1 anti-poverty legislation this country, and perhaps any country, has ever had. Half the seniors were in poverty when this was established, and for the last quarter of a century, it's been turning surpluses. There's currently, in the party you check that's FICA, there's currently in the trust fund $2.6 trillion. And that's good for another 27 years if we do nothing. And if we have to tweak it along the way, let's find out how much we have to do and how we will do it. One way I will not support is raising the retirement age, because that is something that divides America in terms of the blue-collar and white-collar people. It's something where the life expectancies even of the people that are blue-collar and white-collar are different for those people that argue that. Paul Krugman sums it up best, and he said, let's not mince words. It's a cruel attack on working Americans.
I am concerned about the finances of the Social Security program. Annually, aggregate Social Security benefits exceed the aggregate of all Social Security taxes by over $300 billion. This $300 billion deficit will be financed by United States government debt, or the debt will increase indefinitely unless benefits, taxes, and/or eligibility are changed. What action do you favor regarding this problem?
First of all, I represent the Cape and Islands in the state Senate, and I think I represent a part of the Commonwealth that has more seniors per square foot than anywhere else in Massachusetts, and maybe almost more than anywhere else in America. So I understand the importance of Social Security, the value it has, the lifeline it is for our elderly. It is critical. It is arguably the best social program that the New Deal authored. And I know how people depend on that, and I would do nothing, let me make that clear, nothing to interfere or in any way change those benefits for people who are currently retired and for those who are approaching retirement. I want to repeat that, because there's been some attempts, I think, or some efforts to muddy up this a bit. I will do nothing that would in any way affect current retirees or those approaching retirement. There is a problem, and I think there's a widespread recognition of that. And frankly, at some point we need to deal with it in order for Social Security to be available for the next generation. Talk to a lot of elderly people. They understand this, they recognize this. I think we need to put everything on the table. So we look at all the different alternatives and make a judgment at an appropriate time. And when that time is something that we need to address. We need to face up to problems. We don't just pander and say what people want to hear. We need to have to recognize if there's a problem out there, we have to be honest. We have to say not necessarily what people want to hear, but what we know to be true, and deal with the issue. So again, I think we need to put everything on the table and make a judgment. And that's in fact what the President suggested. There is a commission in place. It's issuing a report, and the Congress will have to deal with it.
That's one of the differences in this race. It is not on the table as far as I'm concerned. It's easy maybe for someone with a white-collar job to say, I could work a couple more years. Those aren't the people that are roofers, laborers, nurses, or other people. How high are you going to go? What age is the age that you stop? It's already 67 for most Americans now. And we don't want to have a division of two Americans, the blue-collar American and the white-collar American. This is a fundamental issue. It's a fundamental promise. And it's a good thing that 75 years ago someone didn't say, well, okay, we'll just do it a few years from now because it may not affect the voters that are here now. It's a promise. It's the best anti-poverty legislation that probably any country has ever had.
There are kids in Scituate and all across the South Shore and Quincy and Weymouth and the Cape and Islands who are going to grow up and become blue-collar workers. And is there going to be a Social Security program there for them? We need to at least acknowledge that's a problem and face up to it. And we can look at all the different alternatives that are out there and make a good judgment about how to best protect the public interest. My opponent's position on this in the debate was that when the problem comes, we'll play it by ear. Tell that to a kid who's in high school now, who's looking out over the horizon and wonders whether there's going to be a Social Security program out there. Most of them are persuaded there isn't, and they're not happy with that prospect.